Well, I want to say shout out to YouTube University too, because I'm an electrician and a chef. I didn't know anything about this. So I had to go to all areas I could to educate myself in what it would take. A lot of different podcasts, a lot of different just guys who are on YouTube. I can't just say just one because I went through so many who this is truly comes from the internet. My knowledge came from the internet. So for those out there who say, hey, I can't get it done, I can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can get it done. And you have to have no fear. You cannot stop at anything. You can't be afraid to take chances. So my invention is a pet securing device, basically a leash. It's called the Pause Leash. This here I'm holding is the large Pause Leash. This is for your medium to large dog, but it allows you to attach this to any pole like apparatus with a simple 1, 2, 3 click.
Yep.
For your outdoorsy pet lovers on the go, people who just want to be with their pet anywhere, this will give you the opportunity to go out and secure your pet for a brief moment and unclick and keep going. So if you don't mind, I could go into the story on how I came up with this.
I'd love to. Please go ahead. Yes.
It'd be great. And then for those listening at home, I mean, so what we're looking at here is, looks like a dog leash, but then it also has, like a carabiner clip almost attached to it, which I assume then you can wrap around a pole or and then clip it to the existing leash. Yeah. Super smart. Looks really easy to use.
Yes. Multi-use. Multi-use. You can attach it to your belt clip. I'm saying interrupt. You can attach it to your belt clip. You can attach this to, you can wrap it around your waist.
Yep.
And then any pole-like apparatus that you may find in your day-to-day walks, travels. For those who want to go to a cookout, a bar, there's nowhere you can't use my leash. It's successful with everything. Very, very strong. I have a commercial on Instagram where we pulled a car with it. So you don't be afraid. Those out there with your big dogs, don't be afraid. No fear. The Pause Leash is here. It will hold your dog. Okay.
That's cool.
We also have the small paws, which is on our website, www.tailandpaws.com, for the medium to smaller dogs. It's not bulky, weighs about a half a pound, very thin rope, and they come in stylish colors as well. So this is actually our first line here that we have for sale, 40% off on www.tailandpaws.com currently, that you can get for your holiday shopping.
It's great. I love it. Very clever.
So give us the backstory, Jaifin. What sort of inspired you?
So speaking of rambunctious, I heard you mention about Cal, is your new dog, right? So my neighbor had a Shih Tzu named Louie. All right. And when I get off work around 5:30, my neighbor didn't get off to 7:30. So I took a great liking to Louie, and I would walk Louie for him until he got home. He didn't get up to 7:30. So every time I would walk Louie, I was seem to get a lot of phone calls. Mainly because I had a catering business, and I would get a lot of orders around 5. I worked as an electrician during the day, cater as my second gig. Okay, so what happens? I would get so many calls, and I got the phone in the left hand. I'm kind of old school, so I didn't go with the earpiece. So I like to put the phone in my ear, and I would have Louie in the right hand, and phone rings. Hey, Jai, I got an order. And I'm like, God, I got Louie. So I'm looking around, I had to take a seat and, writing with Louie in my hand. And every time somebody outside, Louie's running this way, I'm this way. I'm all over the place. So I got back and I said, how can I fix this? You just naturally, inventors just want to figure out a way to solve things. So I pulled out my pad and I just drew what I knew I needed. I just drew it on a piece of paper, what I felt like I needed. Now, at that point, I didn't say to myself, I'm going to make this. I just said, it has to be a product out here that can give me what I need, and being able to multitask with phone calls, writing things down, and walking Louie at the same time. But I went on Amazon. I went to Walmart. I actually physically went into Walmart. I went into Pet Strips, PetSmart. I went on every platform that sold pet products. And I couldn't find anything that could satisfy my needs. So I naturally then went to my mom and I said, Mom, you know what? I think I'm going to try to invent something. And she says to me, well, you know what? When I was young, I tried to invent something. I said, Mom, what did you try to invent? And she says, I tried to invent a toothbrush that with the toothpaste that could come out of the other end for camping. And I said, really, what happened? And she said, I didn't pursue it. And I said, you know what, Mom? I'm going to pursue this. I'm going to invent this. And she said, you know what? You should go for it. If you believe in it, you should go for it. I then took a class and educated myself in the market, in the product, and how to do it from everything from A to Z. And here we are. Once my mother saw that I was extremely serious, speaking of the C, I remember the question. The guy said, hey, how do you get money? I went to friends and family. My mother sold our grandparents' house,
Right.
and she put it in my hands, and we haven't looked back. Yeah.
Wow, Jack, man, that's a story. So you're basically carrying on that inventor spark of your mother, right? You're carrying forward her inventive, spirit with this product. That's pretty cool, multi-generational.
Yes.
Once you gathered information, you now are kind of getting the funding from friends and family. Tell us what happens next. What's the next thing you did to get where you are?
So the next thing was I called JB, and after I called him and I had an interview with him to figure out what it would take. Then you have to now devise a budget for yourself. After you've gone through the part where you've educated yourself in the product, you've educated yourself in the market, which is very important, and then you educate yourself in the competition. So the product, the market, then the competition. Once all of this was dissected, I then got my prototypes together. And this is where Chris came in, because he taught me how to devise a prototype. He taught me how to use a 3D printer and come up with these prototypes. Once we were able to come up with the right prototype, then came the testing. The testing is not anything that will happen fast. You have to give this time. There is no rush into this, because it's a very expensive process. So if you don't take the time in testing and get you a group you can trust, because I had a group I can trust, you have your NDAs, your non-disclosures, and you have to give them time. I then tested the product for a year with over 20 individuals who had dogs. So I came up with 20 prototypes, let an array of dog owners from small dogs to large dogs test it out. Came up with a list of test questions, with a list of questions. Hey, how much would you pay for this? Do you like how it looks? If you could change one thing, what would it be?
Awesome.
What did you do with your leash?
What I'm hearing from you.
So over the course of a year,
you're very intentional with what you do, which, a lot of inventors are kind of shoot from the hip, but it seems like you really have a plan, and you had a plan. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I want to say shout out to YouTube University too, because I'm an electrician and a chef. I didn't know anything about this, so I had to go to all areas I could to educate myself in what it would take. A lot of different podcasts, a lot of different just guys who are on YouTube. I can't just say just one, because I went through so many who this is truly comes from the internet. My knowledge came from the internet. So for those out there who say, hey, I can't get it done, I can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can get it done, and you have to have no fear. You cannot stop at anything. You can't be afraid to take chances. And this is just something to go on to all the inventors who are out here who believe in what they have. Self-inflicted wounds can hold you back. Don't allow for self-inflicted wounds. Jump in the game, educate yourself in it, and keep moving.
Okay, Jai, tell me about something that didn't go your way. Let's say you sent this off to a couple customers, and maybe one of them told you something you didn't want to hear.
No customer yet has had any complaints. Everyone has loved the product. The only thing, Yeah. I've been extremely fortunate. Been extremely blessed that everyone who's purchased the product has loved the product. They love the fact that if anything takes place with the product, they can send it right back and I get you another one out. I love the lifetime warranty. So if I had to say anything, my manufacturer is great. So, okay, here's a story. Yes. I started off making this myself right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I realized that it was just extremely too pricey here because I just wanted to be able to say made in America. I wanted to be able to have that sticker on my product. But unfortunately, to be able to give people a fair price, it's very hard starting out to do that. I was fortunate enough the individual who was sending me parts from China introduced me to a manufacturer out there who believed in me, for one. They just really said they liked how respectful I was. And they have gone out of their way to supply me with a great product, lifetime tooling, which they provided me, which is almost unheard of. And the shipping is amazing. So that was one thing that I thought I would be able to do that didn't work. I thought I would be able to make this I started off hand making this and it didn't work out, but it just was too expensive. I would have to have the product at over $150, which is insane. But now I was able to cut the price and we looked at maybe possibly shave the price down a little bit more and still have the lifetime warranty for our customers just because business is great. We're able to come out with another line, a color line. If you go to www.talentpause.com, a lot of people at pop-up shows that I attend want the multicolored leash. So they want the colorful, stylish leashes. I get it. They're on the way. They're coming. And they want the smaller leash, the small paws, because we have a lot of active dog owners who have small pets. And people want their leash to match with their shoes these days. So I'm making a way. They want it to match with their purse. So I'm providing that.
So, Jack, you talked about these pop-up events and in-person, something kind of like trade shows. But before you mentioned you got a lot of education through the internet and you are selling online.
Yes.
What have you found to be the most impactful ways to reach potential customers, get deals done? Is it in person or online or mixable?
In person, why? Because people get to meet me. You get to talk to me. I get to show you how my product works. You get to feel it. You get to touch it. And there's nothing beats in person. I mean, you can see a lot of reels and a lot of funny commercials on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and I love it. I love the platform, but you have to get out there. You have to go to these pet shows. You have to go to these trade shows. You have to go to whatever your subject is, any genre, whatever that is, you have to go to these events and be part of it. That has been in the best way. I've got this. It's been the most impactful way because now people see you. They go right on your site. If they don't buy right in person, they know what's going on. They know what to expect. And I love the feeling of doing that.
Let's talk about going to market. Let's talk about your branding and how you're selling your product. What do you see this year and into next year of how you want to be selling?
Again, the live shows are my biggest asset. The live trade shows are my biggest asset. Right now, coming up in March 26th to the 28th is the American Pet Products Association Product of the Year trade show, which my product will be nominated for Product of the Year. For those out there who are in whatever field you're in, you want to find out what is the Super Bowl of your field. And whatever that may be, you want to go to. You want to be part of whatever that is, whatever that Super Bowl is. And this is the Super Bowl of pet products.
That's like knowledge gold nugget right there.
I'm typing up that right now.
You
find your
product. You want your product competing at the Super Bowl.
So I'm going to the Super Bowl, and we're going to make commercials. We got interviews set up. We have a quasi news team coming over. Everything to give all my online shoppers, all my streamers, all my real watchers online. I'm providing that from my experience there. live streaming from the Super Bowl, the American Pet Products Association trade show. And this is how I plan to remarket, just by being at these events, streaming myself at every event I go to. And this is how I'm going to approach 2025. I feel like this is the best way to be in the game, to be in action, have your product in action, and going live every time you're there. And this is my new, not just buying some type of commercial and just keep hitting it. No, you have to be seen as much as you can be. So that's my plan for 2025.
I love that. You have a plan, man. Just like Matt said, you're a planner. And I think you're going to do it exactly what you planned for.
Oh, yeah. Good things happen to inventors by accident sometimes, but more often than not, it takes someone who's very strategic in order to accomplish goals, right? So, yeah, hats off to you. I'm excited for you. Just listen to you.
Anything else you're working on? I suspect because inventors invent, do you have any other products you might want to roll out? Do you have any other parts of this company that might be coming soon?
So again, I spoke about the small paws. We have the large paws and we have the small paws. I spoke about the color lineup, the assortment of colors that we're coming out with. A lot of colors to be able to satisfy everyone out here who, when I'm at these live shows, hey, do you have orange? Do you have pink? So yes, all your colors will be out. We then will start specializing these leashes to be able to ink your dog's name on the leash, ink your favorite team on the leash. I just, about 2 weeks ago, I met with the Carolina Hurricanes, and won't let the cat out of the bag just yet, but we're working on something special to see if I can spread this across the NHL and maybe the other NFL and all of our sporting teams. You know, so I won't say too much, but I think you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
We also have a retractable line coming up that will soon. I can't show you just yet because I got to run this by JD first.
Yep.
You know, he has to see it first. Just briefly, you know, these are the things that are coming up for Tail and Paws as far as other things that I'm working on.
Good. Well, let's talk about branding for a bit. We got Matt Colseth on, our trademark attorney. Tail and Paws. You've got the words and the logo, the little orange logo. How did you decide on that? And how have you been using that in your marketing materials and website?
It took a while because this product had a couple of different names in the beginning until we found out that it was someone's name somewhere else for some other product. So it was a lot of trial and error that came with that. But I wanted something compact, something that could easily be applied. And I have actually both of these trademarked. The paw with the paw symbol in the middle is actually trademarked, and the name altogether is actually trademarked. So I came up with the circle. I came up with the circle here to represent the globe, because just like with JD's help, we're going all around the globe. And, you know, and put it all in this box. So that was how I actually came up with it. It's very simple, something that I felt like just looked neat, and there wasn't much to that. I just felt like anything with a tail we could pause, and the strength of the leash as well. So with the bold represents the strength of the leash. So that's why we chose bold print. And that, very, very, very simple. I actually did before I met JD, I actually did my trademark on my own, again, through YouTube University. Just learn how to do it. Sorry I couldn't come to you for that, Matt, but
that's all right. I was actually just looking at one of the trademark applications, and it looks like the logo one you were just talking us through just registered on December 3rd. So
yeah,
congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent job.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
at least in my book, it's a big deal.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a lot. It did.
I always ask this of our guests, if you could, you've already dropped a lot of golden nuggets and wisdom, but you could kind of, with parting words here, a final thought or inspiration for some of those inventors that might be where you were at the beginning. What would you say to them as they get started on this journey?
I may have said this earlier, but I'm going to say this to you all out there. No fear. You can't have any fear. If there's something you're thinking about, you have to almost, in a sense, be prepared to go all in. Don't be afraid to fail, okay? For those out there listening, never be afraid to fail.
I love that advice. And like, I'm just thinking, I mean, there's no world in which you exist being an entrepreneur where you don't succeed. You personally, like, it's clear to me, So I would say, like, for those listening at home, if this isn't resonating with you, maybe being an entrepreneur is not for you, right?
It might not be for you. Yeah.
You can see a little bit of yourself here, then maybe move forward.